Hey guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. Before we get started, I want to remind you about the very cool bucket list trip I am doing in 2026, the Smitty Learns Irish podcast, where I'm going to do my bucket list, hike Ireland for a year, learn about Irish history, town by town, through the mouths of the pub owners and regulars. Because what's a better way to learn about something you love than to experience it yourself? Patreon.com/we3smiths, only $3 a month, and thanks for checking it out.
1, 2, 3, 1.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What the hell? Everything! Talking with my good friend, once a year crew, except for the last couple of years. Mary Eagan, how are you? It's a long time coming for you to come on the show.
Absolutely. I've been waiting. We're using my real name, are we? That's okay.
Is that all right?
No, that's fine.
I felt
that's
like you were
fine.
out of radio now, so you can get off scot-free.
Are you ever really out of radio?
I can only hope.
What's your middle name?
Aaron.
So Thurston, which is my on the air, I was Mary Thurston. Thurston's my middle name, so you would have been.
Thurston's my middle name.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool name.
Yeah,
it is. But
when I was on the country station when I first started. I was Aaron. I think I was Aaron Smith, and I'm like, well, that's stupid, but it's like a country sounding name, kind of.
Wait. You were on a country station?
I mean, started out. Yeah, I had to get off that as soon as possible.
No, that's how I started out too. I started out on a country music station, and my program director used to make me say honky tonk badonkadonk just because he thought it was funny to hear me say it, because I don't really look like the type of person necessarily that would understand or even say that in regular conversation. So I too started on a country station. I just can't picture you on a country station.
No, me either. No, me neither. I honestly, it was the most awkward. All I would do was just talk about NASCAR and talk about how much I like Jeff Gordon, because I knew it would irritate some people.
Yeah, I don't know anything about NASCAR, but I would say things like 3 wide. I would just say that a lot.
Yeah.
To try to get street cred. But then later I did go to a country music station. I was there for 7 years, and it was great. And I learned so much. Like, I feel like I have street cred or like field cred now, because I learned like, tractor colors. The different, like, tractors with country people, it is like the Bloods and the Crips. Like, they're serious. Yeah. The John Deere people don't want to hear from the International Harvester people. It is a battle.
Honestly, I went, when was it? A few months ago, I went to St. Ignace and I emceed a monster truck throwdown, and it's similar. It's similar. Wow. That was my first thing. That was way more of a redneck activity than I've ever committed to, like, voluntarily.
I learned, for instance, how dirty the big three automakers are with, is it the engines? So you have the Duramax, the Power Stroke.
No, I don't know.
The Cummins.
No, and here's the thing. I had to tell these people when, we had like pre-race meetings and things. I had to be like, look, I'm taking notes about all these drivers, right? And I had to stop them and say, I don't do engines. I don't do like parts, all right? Anything like that, just skip it, because I'm going to sound stupid anyway if I start talking about something I don't know what I'm talking about, You
should have heard me for 7 years talk about prizes for deer blinds. I really thought that a shoulder mount, I thought it was like you mounted your gun, like it was a like I thought it was some sort of like Terminator hunting contraption that you would mount the gun to your shoulder and be able to shoot it that way. It's taxidermy.
It's such a it's not just northern Michigan. I mean, it's a rural thing, but it's so outside of like understanding for people that like live in a big city, maybe overseas or something like that. They just have no grasp of like a hunting culture, like a region like this, which is in the woods. They have no grasp of it. They're like, what are you talking about?
No, seriously. And you know, you don't even have to be from a big city. I am someone who, and I know this is going to shock you. I do not own any camo.
That does not shock me one single bit.
It doesn't shock anybody. But for my listeners, you know, and it's, you know, honesty is you have to be authentic. So they knew I had no idea what I was talking about. They just found it funny that, you know, I was forced to talk about hunting things all the time. So I used to do a question of the day. And honestly, I think I got the biggest play on a question of the day asking what their favorite hunting camp delicacy was, food wise. People really cook, like in deer blinds. Deer blinds are crazy. What people do in deer blinds, first of all, I don't want to know, but the cooking part of it is unbelievable.
Well, the intricacy and detail with some of these, I mean, you might as well just have a cottage with some of these deer blinds, you know what I mean? There's more than just a hot plate in there, you know?
No, it's incredible. It really is. And people live for it. To me, it sounds torturous to go sit in the woods, you know, without indoor plumbing for hours on end. But then I don't drink. So maybe I think that is
not always, because I like to hunt, and it's been a long time since I have, but when I do, I don't, you know, there's hunters that sit there in a blind and they wait for things to come to them, and then there's hunters that go find the things. And that's the way I prefer. Go walk and find the things, you know? That's the way to do it.
But I thought you had to be like absolutely silent.
I mean, mostly, hopefully.
Oh, but you were in the military, so you know how to do this.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of a ninja.
They teach you to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they teach you. You're a camo ninja. That's what they should call hunters, camo ninjas.
Camo ninjas. Hey, we were talking right when we started rolling. I wanted to get back into this conversation, which, by the way, Mary, I know I introduced you already. Yeah. But you worked in radio. We met. We're essentially competing radio stations.
Kind of.
I mean, you know, in the same town of Alpena, which was like a remote station for the station I was on. Yeah. How long were you in radio?
18 years.
Yeah, and I was about 15.
Yeah.
You had said right when we started the video, you know, we got into radio so we wouldn't have to be in front of the camera. You know?
I hate it.
I don't know what I don't know why I got into radio. All I knew is that I just wanted to talk. Yes. I just wanted to yap for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I caught the like podcast bug early on. Like I kind of was just like, oh, you could just make your own whatever you want on the internet. And ever since then, it's just been just kind of spark and brainstorming and kind of figuring out what I'm doing and how I want to do it. Because honestly, this outlet to me has the most freedom you can possibly imagine as far as just like any sort of show or whatever to do it yourself, the DIY thing.
Totally true. And, you know, I think maybe for a lot of people, that's the difficulty of it because there really are no limits. So you can do anything. So I think it's almost overwhelming. Like you can do anything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to sort of, you know, distill it down to exactly what you want to do. But part of it is figuring that out. So you have been telling me for a couple of years now that podcasting is the thing, that you don't want to be tied to a radio station. I mean, I guess that's just for me. You know what I mean? I'm all about just doing the thing you want to do the most, you know? For sure. Yeah.
I felt like that I wouldn't be able to do what I want to do on the radio anymore. You know what I mean? I really felt like I couldn't really do what I wanted anymore. I you know, it was just constrictive for me, you know?
Right.
And I don't know if you felt that same way.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yes. I mean, I have gotten very good at in my head saying, you can't say that. You can't say that on the air. You can't say that.
Yeah.
You know, you self-censor all the time. I mean, I think, you know, I like radio. What am I saying? I love radio. I really do.
Yeah.
But you can't be your whole self. You can't be completely honest on, you know, maybe on satellite you could, but even then there are constraints. So podcasting to me has always been intriguing because like you, I do like to talk. I have an opinion on everything except, as I always say, where I want to go to dinner. And I'm excited about at least sort of exploring that.
How does it feel? When was the last time? Have you been on a podcast before?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, how does that feel coming on? Being like you're talking about like the inner censorship, and I know I'm not supposed to say this, and I was going to make a joke when you came on and be like, "Are you sure you want to damage your reputation, like coming on this podcast?" I'm like, I think I need to keep it a little bit cleaner for you and your audience, even though I don't really feel that, but there's still that like tinge. I'm like, maybe,
Yeah, I know.
you know. How does that feel? How does that feel like when you're coming on and you're like, I don't know what to say. I've never been on a podcast before. A transition from radio, essentially.
It's a transition, but I honestly never worry about not having anything to say. I really don't. I said to you, I think you said something like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And I prefer it that way. I really do. To me, this is the most natural thing. And I think those of us who love broadcasting in whatever form that is, for me, it's always been about the conversation, whether it's a conversation with my listeners, whether it's a conversation with a guest that I have on. For me, it is always a conversation, and I can't stand it when people ask, like, what questions are you going to ask ahead of time? Because that's not how I do it. I want it to be an authentic conversation and see where it goes.
It's been such a leap for me to transition into this because for that very reason.
Yeah.
There were so many times starting out where I would just, on the radio, I think you can relate to this similarly. And that's, you say something weird, you say something awkward, and you don't know where to go from there. But it's really easy to dump into a song to end it on a laugh, essentially,
Yeah. See, I never have I get awkward. I've said awkward things.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
My favorite part is that I always used to like to kind of jab at the news guy. And I can't remember what the song was. But I ended it with, I made a Popeye reference for some reason. And I said, speaking of salty seamen, Phil will be up next with the news. And in my head, it was SEAMAN.
And everybody else is
like, wait, what? And Phil would never be that lucky. But, I'm okay with saying awkward things. Most of my listeners would know that that wasn't necessarily what I meant to say. But on the other hand, there will be things that I say that might go over the head of some that, other people caught. And it was like a little wink and a nod. So that's part of the fun.
Yeah, that was the fun part. But like going into and doing this and really learning how to like exercise that conversational muscle, which was like the whole point for me doing this thing was just to become a better conversationalist. I would like clam up doing this podcast starting out because I would just be like, I would have that awkward moment and then I didn't know where to take it from there. So I'll just be like, completely like frozen in that. So it's a real skill, like learning how to do this, like a lot of people just can't talk. Like you have to learn to do it, You do, but don't you think, at least in my mind, it's about being comfortable with yourself and oh, sure.
I talk to myself all the time. I have an inner monologue all the time. I'm narrating my life all the time. I'm making, observational humor about my life all the time. And all it is really is saying it out loud, what's going through your mind.
No, that's 100% true. That is just, communicating what's on your brain, effectively.
Yes.
Yeah. And, just being able to, I don't even, honestly, most of the time, I don't care if 2 people watch this podcast or listen to it or download it because I just love coming on and just doing the thing, Do you have any ideas what you're going to do as far as podcast goes? I know we had talked about it a little bit.
I'm going to start, I'm starting something for work first. So that'll help me kind of, get my feet wet. So I'll start with work, but personally, I have a few ideas. I'm kicking around. I have a friend who is in the Republican Party, active in the Republican Party, works in the government, and he'll be transitioning out to a certain extent. But he's my best friend, and I am, to the left of Bernie Sanders. So we have very interesting conversations, and people. The thing that really bothers me about probably the most prevalent thing people say to me about my friend is, I can't believe that you guys can still be friends and have such differing opinions. And they treat it almost like we're some sort of inspirational miracle, like we should be on a Save the Children ad or something.
Aren't you though? Because I mean,
well-
honestly, what's the term that I'm looking for? Civil dialogue, or
Yeah.
like, isn't that the whole point? Like, there's not a lot of people doing that anymore. It's kind of a miracle.
Well, but it shouldn't be. It
No, it
shouldn't
shouldn't.
be. And so we've talked about doing something like that. He's very funny, and wouldn't be all politics because nobody really wants to listen to that. But I think just talking about how people can have differing opinions and still be friends and not demonize each other. Like, I don't think he's Hitler. He doesn't think I'm Chairman Mao.
But that's the thing. I think people do want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, if you have two people that have a chemistry conversationally, and you can tell right away that they have a thing back and forth, and they have two differing opinions, like, oh, I bet people eat that up. Eat that up.
They do, but I hope that they would. But right now it seems everything is so tribal. It's my team against your team, and if someone you hear about, like a congressman who did something bad in the news, the first thing you ask is, which party does he belong to?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And it really shouldn't be that way. And I really don't know, after the past 6 years, I'm not sure that we are capable of going back to civil discourse. I hope we are. But as a nation, I hope so. But it's just awful. Some of the things that you see. I have my keychain that I carry around with my car keys says "Never read the comments." And any political story, if you just want to feel sick to your stomach, read the comments.
Yeah, it's tough. I've said it a lot of times. It's just a good form of therapy for me is just delete or type and delete.
Yeah.
You kind of get it out of your system, but it's, I hate to say that it'll never get better because of social media, but it doesn't seem like it's ever going to get better because of social media. Like, it just perpetuates people pissing and moaning at each other.
I totally agree. I think that social media has been the downfall of any civil discourse whatsoever. And, and then you put in bots and differing interests, whether they be foreign, domestic, whatever, who have a vested interest in dividing people. I don't know where we go. People, it's really interesting. I am I'm in graduate school right now in strategic communication, and I had a class that had someone from the Army who was in communications for the Army, and they asked who is the biggest influencer that you follow or that you contend with, and he said Al-Qaeda. And I never thought of Al-Qaeda as an influencer.
Wait a second.
But he's right.
Wait a second. Okay, let me wrap this around my brain for a second.
Yeah.
The person was a soldier, a United States Army soldier.
Yes.
And he was asked who his favorite.
No, not favorite. Who is someone that they follow that you think has a lot of, probably the most influence? So the biggest influencer.
I see. So it would, okay. So they're following Al-Qaeda just to see kind of what they're up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And seeing the huge influence that they do have. That's what you're saying.
How do you counter program against that? And I never thought about terror groups being on social media and being influencers. I mean, when I think of an influencer, I'm thinking of the Kardashian family or something like that. But terrorist groups are out there. And
that's really got to fuck up your algorithm when you go to look at that. You're like, what am I, all of a sudden your YouTube, your Twitter's just covered with terrorist organizations.
Yeah. It's a thing. But it sort of put things in perspective of, I think most of us think of social media as kind of like the town square, but it's really not the town square. It's a battlefield in many ways. maybe not literally, but it's certainly, cyber warfare, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But psychologically, it's very, very persuasive for a lot of people.
what are your thoughts? It just came down today that I'm trying to remember how exactly this went, or at least the condensed version of it. Elon Musk put on Twitter a poll that said, hey, if you want me to step down as CEO, just vote it down. And if the vote loses, then I'll step down. And he lost. And is he actually going to step down from Twitter?
I don't know what he'll do. I suspect he will. I think Twitter's pretty predictable, and I think he wants to step down. I think he's probably gotten heat from his other company shareholder. Well, I don't know. Does he have shareholders, or does he?
I don't think it's publicly traded
I don't
anymore
think it is either. But I suspect that money rules everything. I know that stock prices for Twitter have gone down. At least that's what I've been hearing in the news. So, I think he's had his fun, and he'll still have control over it. I mean, he still owns it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he still owns it. He's just not calling the shots essentially anymore, right?
Yeah, he will get himself out of the line of fire, metaphorically speaking, and be able to have it as a social media platform, but not really be the face of it anymore. At least that's what I think, but who knows?
It's just a great model for what we're just talking about. As far as just like the dumpster fire that social media is, that nobody really knows how to control the bots. Nobody knows how to control the algorithms, really, or they do to a point. But it's like you get someone like Elon Musk, who I have been high on in the past and has really disappointed me lately. You get somebody that smart and you're like, oh, this guy's going to step in. And I was stupidly just like, oh, he's going to step in and kind of do some tweaks and we'll kind of be rolling in a little bit more efficient way and better run or whatever. But that didn't happen at all.
No, I think I kind of think with him, he's very smart. I think the guy's a genius. Certainly has achieved incredible things, but I also think he is desperate for attention. I think he loves sort of the high of being the topic of conversation. And he's making, in my mind, my opinion, some really stupid decisions. And not conducting himself in a way that is going to garner him fans. I mean, when you think of the people who drive Teslas, for instance, you're really alienating a lot of people. I mean, I don't know about all the rich environmentalists who are thinking like, yeah, what he's saying sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, you have any liberal who wanted to buy a Tesla is probably thinking twice now. And, should it be that way? You can argue whether, someone's personal politics should inform your decision making when deciding what you're going to buy. But I think it does. Whether it should, it does. And sometimes it obviously should, but it becomes a very slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, and it really snowballs so quickly with, you're just talking about, I kind of forgot the point you were making. I'm trying to remember the point that I was going to make. And that's
the beauty of this.
Yeah. You get people like Elon Musk, and I'm going to throw who else into that category? I'm going to throw Tulsi Gabbard into the category of somebody who comes off initially when I started seeing them, like as an independent. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're essentially an independent, and as soon as you take an anti-stance against something, Tulsi Gabbard took a very anti-traditional Democratic Party stance against Hillary Clinton, and then Elon Musk took a stance against, I wouldn't necessarily say who he took a stance against, but he took a stance for right-wing free speech on Twitter. But it all snowballs from there. Yeah. And all the hate comes in, sort of, and then you find yourself in that same company of people or ideals that people automatically assume you are. So you automatically kind of align yourself with those things, even though you didn't before. It's fucking weird.
It is. And I think it's indicative again of how media, whether it's traditional media or social media, you become caught up in a news cycle, and you can't. Nobody is immune to the influence of that. I don't think. I mean, once you realize that you're being watched, you act differently. You do.
No,
and so
I know.
you're being watched, and you know that people are looking at your every move and what you're saying. You get positive feedback from some, you get negative feedback for others. It influences then how you act, how you think. And I don't think you can get away from that. Maybe it doesn't do that for everybody, but I think for a lot of people it does. And it affects who you think you are to a certain extent.
Do you try to get off? Do you fantasize about getting off social media? I do all the time. I just can't wait for the day.
Yeah, I think about it. I do. I think social media doesn't have to be awful, but I think it's like a drug. I really do think it's a drug. And you look at, for instance, what it does to teenage girls when they turn about 14. They did this study, and they were looking at the mental health sort of rates, the mental wellness of adolescent girls. And it throughout, the past few decades, and it was pretty static, going along at this level. And then around 2012, 2014, it plummeted. And that was the advent around the time of Instagram.
Yeah.
And, you're now, you and I know about filters. We know that our friends who have posted these gorgeous autumn meadow pictures of their family that right before they were probably screaming at each other, their house is a mess and their lives are in shambles, but they project this image. But we as adults, at least somewhere, know that that's not reality. It is a picture that they posted on social media, and it's not real. But a 14-year-old girl doesn't necessarily know that. And she looks in a mirror and thinks, why don't I look like that? My mirror is not filtered. And it's very damaging. And I think of people now, children growing up in a world where they've never not known social media. And that, like, from the time they were born, they're on social media because their pictures, their parents are putting up these photos of them. And a lot of times, even those photos are highly edited. So, you have like the perfect Gerber baby. And that's not what the baby looks like, in real life. But everything is edited and curated and put up as this false front of who we really are. I think it's very damaging. And that's not even talking about politics. That's just talking about our mental health. So I really have been trying to be more conscious lately of my use of social media, what I choose to engage with. If you look on my Instagram search, it's all puppies and pandas and bunnies. It really is. All I do is watch dog videos.
No, mine's all cats. Cats and like tiger videos and shit like that, because it's hard. It's as I said before, type and delete, just get it out of your system, because I'm really focusing in my life right now on just trying to reduce the anger, trying to reduce the things that irritate me, trying to really control how I perceive things and how I react to things. And this world is just not set up for that, the social media world. I was talking earlier today on the podcast about, what do we have? Fusion now. Elon Musk is doing, gonna test brain implants. We're living in the future. This, honestly, I can't even believe the time we live in sometimes, We're living in simulations. Social media is just because it's all going to be meta. We're all going to be walking around with glasses on. There's going to be things appearing out of nowhere. I can't even believe the time we live in right now.
No. It is bizarre. I mean, when you think of, like, you used to watch Star Trek, it would be on after school and syndication and reruns, and you'd see William Shatner, with that the communication device. It's a cell phone, basically. I mean, really, it's a cell phone.
No, we're living in Star Trek.
We really are.
Yeah, we're living in Star Trek. And with this fusion breakthrough that they had the other day, or they announced the other day, you're like, we're so much closer to like clean fuel and clean energy. And there's at least 20% of us that hate that idea. for some reason.
Well, no, you're right. You're right about that. Everything has become incredibly divisive. Everything. I mean, people get angry over the stupidest things. And I'm not saying that, you know, alternative fuels and things like that are stupid. They're certainly not. But it is amazing how heated people get about, and that was a pun, how heated people get about that even, about that. It's, I don't know. It's strange to me. I think, why don't we let's explore the options. Let's see, cautiously.
Sure.
Because we've all seen the movie where they change one thing and, you know, then in the future we're living in a space pod, you know, orbiting Jupiter or something. But I don't know. It's strange how knee-jerk we all get about anything. Even alternative fuel, even, you know, it's just strange. It's strange to me.
Yeah, no, it's... no, like you said, it's just inside of us right now, or inside a lot of us, is just knee-jerk reactions. You know?
Absolutely.
It's 100% knee-jerk reactions.
And anger, as you said, anger. I mean, I really think social media is set up to make us all angry.
Well, I never watched I think it was the Facebook documentary that came out.
I haven't watched it either.
Or I didn't read all the whistleblower testimonies, but like I watched the 60 Minutes interview.
I saw that. That was really interesting.
I think Facebook, that was kind of what they were going to set up for, just conflict, essentially.
Yeah. It makes me sad. I don't know. The world is sad enough. Life is hard enough without submerging myself in rage, and I, like you, I find myself getting angry, and you know, you
seem
Irish.
Like one of the least angry people that I know.
Oh gosh, yeah. See, that's the problem. You know, I think that I mean, I have a temper, I really do, but it's with me. You know, it's bad when I get silent and I get very calm, and you see this eyebrow raise. Like, if you see me go like this, oh, Katie, bar the door. It's not.
At least you can control it. I don't think I can control it. The Bell's palsy, I think, probably limits my eyebrow movement.
I forgot about the Bell's palsy.
Hey, did you do the eyebrow thing when you did an award-winning performance of Mrs. Cratchit in Smitty's Christmas Carol?
Oh wow! No, listen.
Do we want to talk about the Renee Mega scandal?
I was the first person. I really think that Donald Trump got MAGA from me being mega. I really do.
It's possible.
I think he stole it from me. I was the original make eggs great again. I'm trying to think what was it was mega, wasn't it? That was what we did. So anyway, I was on a competing radio station, kind of, so we couldn't use my real name.
Yeah.
But my performance, I want a do-over. I want a do-over with that. I think that when I come to visit you in studio, we need to record that, because I need you to play off of. I couldn't feel the depth of my character. I really, I need to dress up as a peasant woman.
Well, see, I don't know if anybody has. I'm sure a few people maybe have checked out Smitty's Christmas Carol. But what was funny is, like, we're like, oh, let's come up with an anagram for you. And I think, isn't Renee Mega an anagram of Mary Eagan? Isn't that how I come up with that? God, I felt really smart.
It was really good.
I felt really smart coming up with that. But here's the thing.
Impressed.
I don't have all the other cast to like re-record this damn thing, so we'll have to do something original.
How about sock puppets?
Doing what? You want to do Christmas Carol with sock puppets?
With sock puppets.
What if you're here in like the spring and it's not Christmas time?
Listen, that's where acting comes in. Is all I'm saying.
Honestly,
I mean,
it sounds fun. We could do some Smith Hole theater in here. We can come up with something. It doesn't need to be Smitty's Christmas Carol, but if you want to do sock puppet theater,
maybe we could have your brother like eating, I don't know, spam or something. It could be dinner theater then.
Well, Levi would have to make the drive to Cadillac. So would Josh, because we don't live together anymore.
Oh, that's sad. Do you miss them?
A little bit, sure.
Do they write?
In text form.
I was hoping that Levi and I could go like antiquing or something. I feel like inside for Levi, he is bougie.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say bougie. I would say old. He like acts like an old man. He wears vests. He probably has
I
a
like it.
Werther's Original in a pocket. And I bet you that he would love to go do some antiquing.
We will totally go antique. We can bring my mom. Now, my mom and you and my mother are, I think, should be BFFs.
We should.
You enjoy each other.
We honestly, in just one night of spending time together, not a night, not an overnight. I didn't spend an overnight with your mother.
Dad?
We took a couple hours to judge the parade, and your mom was there for that night, and she was wonderful. She was splendid.
She's very, very funny, too. She really is. And she looks like a kindly 70-something-year-old grandmother. And she says some things that are not necessarily what you would think someone who looked like her would say.
That's my favorite kind of people. My grandmother, who just passed away a couple months ago, she's a wonderful woman, but she was the one that told me I had a goatee, and she said, it just looks like a big, hairy butthole is what she said, and you're like, Grandma, I'm shocked. But your mom's the same way. Those cool old ladies,
It's true. She will kick you for calling her an old lady.
I didn't mean it.
You know that. But did you tell that story at the funeral for your grandmother? Did you put that in a eulogy or?
No. I
behaved?
Well, I just walked around during the potluck and told everybody then.
Well, you have to tell that.
Yeah.
It's part of her charm.
No, it was one of my favorite stories for sure.
What's your go-to potluck dish?
I don't know. I don't know.
If it's a potluck, what do you hope is there?
I made fruit salad for Thanksgiving. I made fruit salad the last few times. It's very simple fruit salad. But
What do you put in it?
this particular fruit salad, maraschino cherries, mandarin oranges, sour cream, marshmallows, walnuts, something else. I can't remember. It's escaping me.
This is a very Midwestern fruit salad. Like there are other people in other parts of the country are like, oh, it's fruit. But no.
It's barely fruit. It's barely fruit. And then I make bacon wrapped chicken tenders, which are awesome. And then I make cheesy eggs O'Brien breakfast skillet.
What is that?
It is cheesy, awesome potato eggs goodness with chorizo. You can do chorizo, you can do bacon, you can do anything. Yeah.
So you call it Eggs O'Brien and it has chorizo in it.
Well, it's called cheesy eggs O'Brien. That was the first recipe I saw, and I've just done a bunch of different things to it throughout the years.
Okay, so you bastardized it, is what you're telling me.
I got it from a bag of like potatoes O'Brien, the Ore-Ida potatoes that you get, and you get a recipe with it, and then I just use those same potatoes and just do all kinds of different things to it, or I just make my own potatoes.
You do grow. Have you ever picked potatoes?
Yes.
So, isn't it magic? It's like you just keep digging. It just keeps coming out of this sounds terrible. Coming out of this hole, and it just keeps. It's unbelievable. It's magic.
You've been completely impressed by deer blinds and digging potatoes so far in this podcast.
I find joy in simple things and ridiculous things. I delight in the ridiculous, and to me, potato that's not real. That can't be real. You just dig a hole and then you start all these potatoes come out of it. It's ridiculous.
If Matt Damon can grow them on Mars, then they got to be good enough for everybody.
Got to do it. My go-to potluck, seriously, this is the easiest thing. I can bake, but I can't cook.
Okay.
So I can only make cakes, cupcakes, brownies. That's all I can do. But what I do. No, it's fine. It's the reason I'm going to be 800 pounds someday, but that's okay. So my go-to, though, is this brie appetizer. So picture this. So I had to go to a Christmas party at a hunting camp last year, and what does one bring to the Christmas party at the hunting camp? I mean, this was a rustic hunting camp.
Okay.
So I brought my go-to potluck dish, which is brie. Already I'm batting 1,000. So brie with caramel sauce, salted caramel sauce, crushed pistachios, and dried cranberries. And you microwave it for like a minute and 20 seconds, and then you get some Carve's water biscuits I'm very English about this.
No,
It's
yeah.
delicious.
Because you're going to have to explain what Carr's water biscuits are.
They're crackers. They're English crackers.
Where do you buy them at? Because I've never heard of.
You can get them at Meijer.
Really?
You can get 'em at Meijer. Yeah. It's delicious, but not many people ate my brie appetizer at the hunting camp Christmas party where they had a lot of meat. So here, like for instance, it's a good wedding by the number of meats that they're serving at the reception. So one time my parents came home when I was a child and announced very excitedly they just went to a 5-meat wedding.
We went to a
5-meat.
How was that wedding you went to? It was a 5-meat wedding.
Huge deal. So I went to the Christmas party where there were a lot of smoked meats and then my brie appetizer. But it's delicious. Seriously, you'll try it. Levi will like it.
I will relay that message. Now you got me thinking about what I'm what I'm going to make for the next potluck. I don't know when the next potluck is. But
I just had one at work. It was people go all out.
What are you doing for what is your Christmas dinner going to look like? Mine's going to be way off schedule this year and stupid.
So where are you going, first of all? You're going back home?
No, I have to work. I have to work Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, bartending at the casino. I'm making pierogi casserole, and I got.
Wait, how does one make what? Wait, what?
A pierogi casserole?
Yeah, how do you do that? This turned into a cooking show.
That's all right. That's fine. Okay. It's okay. A layer of pierogi. You just get 4 packages of 1 pound pierogies.
Okay.
You do a layer of that. You do a layer of cream of mushroom soup. You saute up or you cook up some chopped bacon, a pound of chopped bacon, set that aside to dry. You saute the chopped onion in the bacon grease. And then the mushrooms, you got about a pound of mushrooms, go in with the onions. And then you make that bacon, onion, mushroom mixture. You scatter that on top with some cheese and then another layer of pierogies, another layer of candy cream mushroom, and then more of that stuff.
How is your cholesterol? Is it okay?
It's okay. I don't eat that very often. It's Christmas dinner.
I mean, it sounds fantastic. It really does. It sounds really good.
I mean, I got about a gallon of eggnog for myself and a Dutch apple pie, too. You know what I mean?
No, that does sound really, really good. What kind of pierogi?
Oh, grandma teas, I think it was, whatever that's called.
No, but is it grandma teas are good? I like those. But are they? Do you do the potato? Do you do?
No, I think
cheese?
I want to say I got 2 different kinds. I think I got 2 of the traditional cheese and potato, and then 2 loaded baked potato ones.
Oh,
I think that's what I got.
I don't know. I think that you should do a special podcast on Christmas. It'll be like 5 minutes, and it's just you cutting into the casserole, showing it, and then eating it, and then that's it.
Look at this poor bastard in his basement with his cat, lonely eating his pierogi casserole
and his
Dutch apple pie. No, but it's going to be weird because I got to go again. I'm working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, my birthday, which is the 28th, and then New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So I have no time to make those dinners. So I'm going to be eating Christmas dinner at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right,
it's still Christmas somewhere.
No, 100%.
It's totally still Christmas. I mean, that's the joy of it. I grew up. I will be having Christmas dinner at my parents' house, and my great grandmother was from England. So, and then that sort of set the tone for our family's Christmas dinners. This is like something out of Charles Dickens. So there's prime rib, Yorkshire pudding.
Oh my God.
Which I love. But
I don't know if I've ever had it. I'm sure I've never had it.
It's like a popover. It's not sweet. It's made with the juices of the prime rib, and it's like a popover that you make. It's greasy and salty and delicious. It's really good.
All right. How's your cholesterol?
It's actually I just had it taken.
Good.
Thank you very much. So far, so good. But anyway, so there's that, and then various side dishes. But then I am forced every year to eat my mother's plum pudding.
Forced?
It has suet in it.
Now,
it has suet in it.
Suet what they feed birds?
Indeed, it is. It
Okay.
is. From what I understand, I think it's beef fat.
Oh, no.
And it's a lot of dried fruits. They have something called pudding Sunday, which was like 4 weeks ago, where you mix up your pudding and put all this dried fruit in it. And I think you bake it. I'm not really sure. I don't necessarily want to know. But then on Christmas, you steam it in this contraption, this pudding steamer thing.
Okay.
And it's really a cake. The British people call any dessert a pudding. So it's not.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, it's a cake. It's
Okay.
like a weird, I don't know, sort of trapezoid cake. It's odd. And then you eat it with hard sauce, which is butter, sherry, and sugar.
Is it,
And that's what I eat.
when you say
So-
hard sauce, it's not a I don't. Some of the stuff is escaping
hard
me.
is in like booze. There's a lot of booze. In it.
Gotcha.
So that's what makes it the hard sauce. So my nephew, when he was growing up, he was like 4, and he called the sherry Grandma's secret spice, and he liked to add a lot of hard sauce. Like he just wanted to eat the hard sauce, and it was like he is Irish after all. That's good. But it's very, very British. It's not my favorite thing, but I want to stay in the will, so I eat it. That's the reason I say forced.
I love the fact that you're doing English Christmas.
It's
You know?
very, very, very English, like it ridiculously so, and it's probably the dessert. Like I live for dessert. I plan everything I'm going. If I go out to eat, I ask first about desserts. I say, "What is house made?" If nothing is house made, I'm not having dessert, and I'll order what I want. But if something is house made and it sounds good, then I order a salad. And then I get the dessert.
That's a good move.
That's what I do. I plan everything I eat around dessert. It's my reason for living. It's really the only pleasure I have in life. So,
No, I honestly, that's why I'm friends with you. You know what I mean?
it's true.
I get
Sure.
it.
Yeah. You got to listen. Some people drink their calories. I eat them in, cake form.
I appreciate that. Now I just want to put that pie in the oven. That's all I want to do now.
Oh my gosh. Does it have like the crumble topping?
Yeah, it's
or is
Dutch
it-
apple.
Oh, it's the best.
I got a Marie Callender's pie, and I started laughing as soon as I pulled it out of the freezer at the grocery store because I just started laughing about what was that meme last year? Sharon, who had her Marie Callender's pie ruined. I'm just like, hopefully I don't fuck this up like Sharon.
I forgot about Sharon.
Poor
Did we
Sharon.
ever find Sharon?
Sharon's not. No, she's not showing her face.
Well, but someone. I mean, listen, we can find anybody. Set a pack of tween girls, and they'll find anybody, and they'll shame Sharon, and she'll think about self-harm. It's terrible. Like seriously, a pack of teenage girls. If they had sent them into Afghanistan, could have found Osama bin Laden, and he would have come out and just said, "All right, take me away from them."
Yeah, just stop talking.
Please, I'm begging you. There's no more vicious organism on the planet than a group of teenage girls.
I wasn't gonna lump. I wouldn't have said that. You said that.
I said no. I fully listen. I grew up with teenage girls. I was a teenage girl. They're vicious little things.
They honestly no. Girls can be. There's a different level of brutality because guys can be brutal and guys can be really mean, but
Yeah.
there's a different level of brutality when you get a bunch of teenage girls together. It can be not always, but
bad.
there's always the chance of it.
Yeah, they can be vicious. Not all of them, but there's a certain subset of that organism, and they are mean.
Mary, I've been wanting to get you on this thing for a while, and I think this is a good tune-up. It's good to get your feet wet for the next time you come in, and I seriously want to do sock puppet theater.
I'm all for it.
Sock puppet theater. I'll make a little stage.
Oh wow! All right,
I'll make a little stage.
I'll start saving socks.
Okay.
It'll be socksy. It'll be socksy. You can promote it like a live sock show. Call it that. Like have all sorts of puns.
I think
Real
it's,
socks.
I think
with
it's wonderful.
3 X's.
I think it's
something
wonderful.
like that. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Now we just have to think. Do we want to do a straight up Christmas Carol? in the spring?
Listen, we could record it in the spring and we could show it. Or maybe we come up with a different classic. I don't know. What else is there?
I don't know. We'll think of something.
We'll think of some. Maybe it's a great pumpkin Charlie Brown or something like that with sock puppets. We'll come up with something. Maybe it'll be original. We don't know. We can't define the magic ahead of time. We can only capture it.
And only guarantee that it'll be magical.
It will be magical.
Oh, that's the best. Mary, I really appreciate you coming on, and I really have been wanting to get you on for a long time, and you're super fun to talk to. So, do you want to get anything out before you go? Mention anything at all?
I mean, not really. I'm trying to find my wallpaper right now, and that's a whole other topic we won't go into. But I have lost. I had custom printed wallpaper made, and I don't know where I put it. So that's what I'm about to go do.
Is it in rolls?
Wallpaper. Yeah, it's in a roll, and I have no idea where it is. So then it's like someone took nobody. I have very interesting taste. Nobody is going to try to steal my strawberry print wallpaper. But in my mind, I'm like, thieves.
Oh, man. All I hear is like Gollum. Oh, so thieves.
That's what it is. Yes, I'm very upset. I'm a upset elfin creature.
Well, I hope you find your wallpaper.
Thank you. I will update you when I do.
Congratulations on being out of radio, even though I know you want to get back in.
I do. I love it.
And honestly, let's keep talking. Let's keep chatting and get you back in here again at some point.
Yeah, it'd be great. I would love it.
Mary, you're awesome. Talk to you next time.
As are you.
Thanks for coming on.
So long, sucker.
Good night, everybody!
I am so sorry for everything that has happened.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right, I'll see you guys there. By the bar and get your face, huh? Get me paid, bitch! Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog. I love y'all very much. Peace out. Good night, ladies. Good night, sir.
What the hell? Everything!